Hi.
Thanks for coming back. How are you doing today?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. We were talking about school and how important it is for you, and some stressors that you had with school and your work schedule. You were a manager at a coffee shop.
Yeah.
So tell me about it. How's it going?
Well, I quit my job working at the coffee shop. Last day there was like the best day ever. I was just really, really glad to be moving on from that and just be moving forward. I started working with Alzheimer's patients because I do want to ultimately be a social worker or a therapist, and I just wanted to learn more about like how such professions work. So while I was at this internship with the Alzheimer's patients, I was introduced to paperwork and the nuances of that, which are really important to psychology and social work in general. But it can be pretty stressful working with dementia patients.
Alright, so you're feeling like the old chapter of your life, the coffee shop, and you close that, you're moving on to the new one, what you wanted to discover in your career field. So the Alzheimer's patients, the paperwork, the nuances, the tiny little lovely things about that. So how are you feeling about your new job at the new internship with the Alzheimer's patients?
It's great. It's providing me the opportunity to meet like a lot of wonderful people and honestly to build my resilience and to build my courage, because this is Alzheimer's is a horrible illness. Dementia is a horrible group of illnesses. And it's really opened me up to like the fact that no one's immune from it. And also, I remember reading in one of my psychology textbooks that helpers need to have courage to deal with the darkness that lies in this world. And I feel like this internship was perfect for building my courage.
Good. So you're feeling some courage, but you're also noticing the mortality that we all have, but you're still staying resilient and just going in nose first, head first, whichever first you would like. It's connected.
Yeah. So I feel like I've built my resilience, but it's also, it's really, really sad. I found out this one woman who, she's blind and she has Alzheimer's, and she only speaks Spanish. She just sits there and says, hello, 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 and says stuff in Spanish, trying to get people to hear her, and she's deteriorating really quickly, and I thought she was a lot older than what she actually was. I checked her paperwork, and she's my mother's age. She's 63 years old. And my heart just broke when I heard that, when I read that. And I also learned that she's in hospice care, and that several of the other patients I work with are in hospice care. And it's just, for me, hospice has always meant the end. You take care of someone, hospice nurse is taking care of someone and helping that person feel comfortable in order to move on and die. And working with the Alzheimer's patients has really helped me to just understand the whole process and how normal, this deterioration is, unfortunately, and but it's still just it could just be hard to deal with.
I see that it's striking a chord with you. You really got intense when you talked about your mother and how close in age they were, exactly that age. It seems very stressful. How do you feel about it?
I feel like it's manageable stress. I mean, fortunately, I don't work there full time. I only work about 15 to 20 hours a week there, and I'm finishing up school this semester. So it's been kind of hard to balance the internship itself with schoolwork. But and on Fridays I work 9 hours a day with these patients, and Fridays that's what introduces the most stress because I'm there for the longest period of time. It makes me kind of glad that I don't work there full time. And it also makes me very aware of how much further I have to go. I feel like I built some resilience and some therapeutic stamina at this internship, but it just knowing that like working one full day out of the week with these patients and still feeling completely winded by it shows me just how much more stamina I have to build. So going back to your question about the stress, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It's manageable, fortunately. Yeah.
Do you have any outlet for it? I remember that you were talking about your writing.
Right. So, I mean, unfortunately, I haven't had much time to write this semester. I've had the internship to focus on. I also started working in a lab on campus, which has been really exciting. And I'm still taking classes. I'm taking 15 credits worth of classes. So I'm finishing 2 bachelor's degrees this semester in 9 days, actually.
Oh.
Not like I'm counting.
Oh, no, not at all. You're not counting.
But unfortunately, I just haven't had that much time to write. No. But I think about it all the time. When I'm in my car, those commutes, I'm bouncing ideas inside of my head. And it makes me really, really happy to think about, a future where I have more time to write.
So just to sum it up, you have the internship, you have the lab, you have your 15 credits, and you also have externally connected to the internship at the Alzheimer's, with the Alzheimer's patients, you have your own feelings that you're dealing with, the courage that you're trying to build and develop, and the mortality that you're seeing, and all this is happening right now. But you graduate in 9 days.
Yeah.
So that's always a plus. That's always a plus.
Yeah.
What are you doing after school?
I really day 10? Want. Day 10. I think I'm going to fall into a small coma. Winter break.
Yeah.
But anyway, when I wake up from that, I really want to volunteer at a crisis help hotline. That's a really good experience to have for graduate school. So I applied there just to volunteer, and I hear tell that the graduate students that I work with in the lab say that they've worked there and they learned so much from that position, and it was so rewarding. So I really hope I can do that.
All right. Do you have any plans for graduate school, or are you still gonna let that sit on the back burner and give yourself some time?
I want to give myself just a little bit of time.
Okay, that's understandable.
So, we'll see what happens.
Good.
I think last time I talked about, I probably told you a little bit about my partner as well.
Yeah, tell me how your partner's going.
I think he's a lot more supportive now that I'm doing a lot more. And now that I'm doing work, I hate to say this, now that I'm doing work that doesn't involve being in a coffee shop, I think he's a lot more supportive of me. I think it was harder for him to be empathic with me when my work problems all stemmed from being at a coffee shop and the little trivial pieces of bullshit that happen in a coffee shop atmosphere. I described some of those last time, just problems with coworkers.
Yes.
And I think it was just harder for him to understand that. But now that my work is more charitable, I think he's impressed by it, and he's just a lot more supportive with everything that I'm doing, especially because I'm doing so much of it.
Okay. So the relationship has actually hit a new high because he sees that you're not just, I understand this for money, but he sees that you're going towards your career and that it's building towards something. So he feels better, you feel better, and he's more supportive of it. That's great.
Yeah, it feels, it's hard when when I'm stressed out and I come home and I'm just not in a good mood. it can be really difficult for him to just be like, hey sweetie, like what can I do to help you out? And that's like what I kind of wish he'd do. It's just like, and instead like he just kind of berates me. He's like, well, like why are you so upset? Like this is you're probably just upset because you didn't get an A on a paper, which unfortunately he's all too right about.
It actually happened.
But not this semester.
Not this semester at all.
But like, just when I'm stressed, I think the bottom line is when I'm stressed out, like, he just gets mad at me for being stressed. He gets mad at me for the way that I react. He gets mad at me for, not coming into the condo, like, bursting with happiness. Instead of being supportive in that moment when I'm unhappy. He's incredibly supportive when I'm happy, when I'm in a good mood. He's like, I'm so glad you're doing well. But then when I'm in when I'm in kind of a crappy place, it's just really, it can be really, really frustrating to talk to him. Because like I just don't, he comes at me with advice as if I have no idea what, how to deal with a problem. So I just want him to listen and just be sympathetic and just, understand and be comforting. And instead he's like, well, you're in a bad mood, aren't you? And I'm like, don't mock me about it. Like, so, I mean, does that all make sense?
Yep. When you're in a bad mood, that's, you put it, you show your stress in a way that which your partner does not enjoy.
Right.
Can you go into further depth of what you do? Do you just come in and do you have a frowny face? Do you throw things? Do you curse? Do you just like make dinner? What do you do when you're stressed?
I look tense, and I know I look tense. Like I've always been told I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I don't like when I'm mad. I don't like to put a happy face on and just try to hide it. I'd rather just express it. I feel like I'll feel better about it if I just let it out. Not like in this cathartic, explosive way, but just like let people know like why I'm upset rather than denying it or or trivializing it. And so like I don't really make much of an effort to hide it. I come in and usually like he'll just say something that sets me off. Like, God, you're in a bad mood, or just makes it feel, just says something that shows me that like he just is not empathizing with me or being sympathetic in any sort of way. And that sets me off and I yell at him. I yell at him and I get upset and I threaten to leave and like go back to my parents' house and spend the night there rather than spending it with him. And for me, just that's like a really stressful part of our relationship. Is like if I'm upset about something, it's like, God, now I have to go home and I feel like I'm not gonna have any sympathy for it. So I try to talk to him about it. When I've tried to talk to him about it, he's usually been, just try to talk to him calmly. He's been pretty good about, I just say to him, like, I feel like I can't, when I'm upset, like, I can't talk to you about it. Like, you only want to talk to me when I'm happy. And he's been a pretty good listener when I've talked to him about it. But, like, I still feel like that's a place in our relationship where we can improve. And I think I honestly, as a person, need to, focus on not becoming so upset in certain situations, and just like not letting myself get to that point where I feel so tense that like anyone who sees me can tell, hey, that guy's angry. So
well, you could also look at it as he's angry. Either I approach him with an open mind, or I approach him with a very closed mind and being very abrasive. it's more of how you express that anger. And if you say that you do it in harsh words, then maybe it is something that you should do something about. But if it's just being grouchy for the day, maybe it is good to let you do your thing. But also getting angry about certain things. If McDonald's is out of tater tots or french fries, maybe not the biggest thing, at least for you. But if something does happen with your academics or with one of your Alzheimer's patients, I could totally see how you would want some sympathy there and being able to express how upset you are about that. You hinted on your parents. You do live with your boyfriend.
I spend like half the time with him and half the time with my parents.
Okay.
Yeah.
And everything good on the home front on the parent side?
Yeah, I mean, it can be kind of hard. That my dad, of course, is, I've given up a lot of time working, at a paying job to work towards non-paying jobs that will advance my career. And it's really hard for him to understand, that these are required things for someone to get into graduate school. And I've put them off for a long time because I've been working paying jobs.
So he's only seeing the short term and not the long term of getting into graduate school and actually going towards your career further, that extra step.
Right.
How does that make you feel?
I mean, it makes me feel frustrated. Like, I understand how he feels. I just really wish that, I tell him, like, look, Dad, like, people who know a lot more about what they're talking about in this field than you have advised me to do stuff like this. I'm sorry, but they know more than you do. Like, my psych advisors know more than you do. My professors know more than you do. This is what they told me I need to do. I'm finally doing it, and I feel great about it.
Good.
And so, we go back and forth. He's like, well, that's great, I'm proud of you. And then the next day, he's like, sorry. He's just like, sorry, you have a job yet? And now it's getting to the point where he's like, can you get a full-time job in psychology the month after you graduate? And I'm like, I'll see what I can do, Dad, but I'm looking to get like a part-time job, maybe, walking dogs at the animal hospital where I used to work. And that doesn't seem to be good enough for him because it doesn't relate to my field. And I'm just wondering, I'm like, Dad, you say you want me to like do something that makes money, yet this makes money and you don't want me to do it. I just don't know why I always have to be wrong. So, that can be pretty frustrating to deal with. But I understand he's a dad. That's what dads do.
That's a pretty strong dad right there.
I
heard that inflection. It was just, So, you feel that it is a cycle of I'm doing X, Y, and Z so that I could have a career in the end, and you keep arguing with your father about how it's going to be good in the end,
Right.
Like when you get into graduate school, and he still wants you to do A, and you're already at the end of the alphabet.
Right.
You've gone through all of your undergraduate years. Do you feel good about him?
Oh, definitely. I've had some bumps in the road, some health problems of my own, and had to drop classes, had to retake classes, unfortunately, but I think I might graduate this semester with a 4.0 for the semester. So
Congratulations!
We'll see what happens, but it's been a pretty loaded semester, as we've been talking about.
Sounds like it. Basically 3 jobs.
Yeah.
Basically 3, yeah. Internship, lab, school.
Yeah.
And other than the stress, you seem to be doing pretty good.
You caught me on a day that is close to the end of the semester after most of it is said and done. So, but there's still a lot more stress to come, and I know that. So.
I thought you were taking a break off of graduate
Well,
school.
I mean, I am, but like if I get this volunteer position with, the crisis help hotline, I know that will not be easy.
It's called the Crisis Help Helpline.
For a reason. So.
If you're going to add more stress, what are you going to do to actually have some you time so that you don't go home to your partner and have these fights with him? What are you going to do?
Fortunately, I will not be taking classes. So, I mean, I feel like that's going to be a really... I loved, as much as I love taking classes, as much as I love learning, my classes were awesome. I had amazing professors. But just the mere fact that like stuff like homework, writing papers, and exams will be out of my life for at least the time being will take away a lot of my stress. Okay. And I'm really glad that I finished it. I finished well. So, like, I kicked ass with my papers and exams this semester. So, but, we talked earlier about my writing, and my writing can be stressful too, just because I'm a crazed perfectionist. I think we touched on that too with my grades and me getting upset about thinking that I got a B instead of an A. And I'm kind of the same way with my writing, but I think once I get a handle on the writing, like once I just get the ball rolling with it again and letting it flow, I've been told that a really good thing to do with writing is to just lose control of it. Lose control of it, see what appears on the page, and then worry about it later. Worry about it at some point, but just love it first. And I think that's a really good thing. A creative writing professor told me that, and I think that was a wonderful piece of advice that will always stick with me. So I'm really hoping I can really lose control of some writing this winter, and
excellent.
And hopefully that'll be a good counterbalance to the stuff with the crisis help hotline if I get that position.
Knock on wood.
Yeah.
I know that you were talking about commuting and you drive.
Yeah.
I don't want to encourage you to do anything unsafe, but there's a photographer that I know of that actually drove around with note cards on his steering wheel, and he would use to tape it, and he would jot down a little note there.
Okay.
So when you're bouncing ideas back and forth, while you are not driving, I stress this point, while you are not driving, put it in park really quick, you're in traffic, jot down this note, put it back, start driving.
Okay.
Do you think you can do that?
Yeah.
All right.
Definitely.
It's something to do. It's something to think of, because you seem very passionate about everything that you do. You're helping out with your internship. Your schooling is very important to you. 4.0, I think that's pretty serious. You don't shoot for the stars, you shoot for the galaxy. You don't need Milky Way anymore. Your partner that you have, very passionate about him, which is why you don't just storm off and go sleep at your parents' house. You still stay there and work it out, which is excellent. So let's set some goals for you.
Okay.
You were talking about all your stress. How about trying an activity where you de-stress?
Right.
Other than writing.
I think exercise for me is a really good way to feel better about myself. I feel sexier, for one. I mean, let's be honest, it's the reason why a lot of people go to the gym. But it makes me feel like I'm in control of my health and control of my physical appearance, and I feel like times when I've really had a lot of time to exercise have really lifted me up. So perhaps integrating that more into my life would be a good goal.
Okay. So the endorphins that you're getting from the working out and the do you do weight training or just cardio?
Weight training and cardio.
Weight training and cardio. The endorphins that you're getting from either is helping your stress, helping you feel good about yourself, helping you feel sexy. There's nothing wrong with it. So maybe actually setting down looking at your schedule, what's there, and scheduling a time. Is there a gym close to you, like within a mile?
Yeah.
Setting a time where you hold it to yourself that I am going to the gym for however long, 30 minutes, an hour and 45, whatever tickles your fancy, that I'm going to the gym.
Okay.
And we are staying there and we are working out. And you owe it to, say that, I owe it to myself to feel good about myself. So I'm going to the gym and I'm staying for however long on each of these days, and I am not deviating from the schedule. So I'm going to the gym for however long for these days. If you only go 4 days, you go 4 days, but you better go those 4 days. And you owe it to yourself. Say, I owe it to myself.
I owe it to myself.
That I'm going to the gym.
I'm going to the gym.
So I can feel good about myself.
So I can feel good about myself.
Because I deserve it.
Because I deserve it.
Because I don't want to feel stressed.
I don't want to feel stressed.
And I want to look sexy.
I want to look sexy.
Feel good?
Definitely.
Going to the gym?
Yep. Yes,
All
ma'am.
right.
All right.
9 days.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, keep me in mind on the 20th.
Absolutely. You're going to be walking across that stage. Be like, up for 4.0. Congratulations, Jamie.
Thank you.
You seem to be happy.
Yes, I am.
All right.
All right. Have a good one.
Have a good one. I'll see you closer to... You don't have the next semester.
Okay, so, I mean, we'll talk in a few weeks. I'll give you a call.
You give me a call?
Yeah.
I'll be here.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you.
You're welcome.